Here we have the April Saltwater Estuary Tackle Club box. We've got a lot of goodies in there for brim, whiting, flathead, whatever you're chasing. Let's have a look. Now, first up in the soft plastics from our friends at Demiki in Japan, we have some leeches, 4-inch leeches. So essentially this is just a big curl tail grub style soft plastic, a big 4-inch one. So something like this is gonna be great for like your mulloway, your big flathead. It's gonna be exactly what I'm looking for, even your Jews as well. But more likely I'm thinking flathead. Big curl tail like this. Put on maybe like a 1/4 ounce jig head, obviously depending on what depth you're fishing and how quick that tide is running away from you. But a 1/4 ounce for this sort of size I think is gonna be perfect. So you're gonna be looking for these drop-offs, you're gonna be looking for those run-out gutters, you're gonna be looking for all the same sort of things. But obviously with the cooler water starting to come in now, you can pick up some of these big fish still sitting around before they start retreating out. And no better way to do it than your 4-inch leeches curl tail plastic. So just a hopping retrieve like you normally do is gonna be perfect. Obviously the lighter jig head, the better in my opinion. I like to fish really light jig heads for flathead. I like that slow sink on my soft plastics. I like the natural swim action you get with the current swimming the soft plastics. So give it a try. Try fish your plastics with some lighter jig heads. Next up from our friends at Storm, this is the Storm Tok Minnow. So these are a little paddle tail style soft plastic, which I absolutely love. And these are gonna be great for some of your bigger brim. Flathead are gonna be perfect as well. But anything else in the estuaries, mangrove jack, you'll even catch mangrove jack on these, obviously depending whereabouts you live around the Australian coastline, but paddle tails are fantastic, very, very versatile. I like to just jump straight into a slow to medium retrieve, so cast out, let it sink down to the desired depth, straight into a slow to medium retrieve, and just let that paddle tail do all the action for you. Feel free to add in a few pauses and stuff as well, but generally where I'm fishing, where there's a lot of structure, I prefer not to pause and let it sink down into that structure, as I tend to snag up and then lose my plastic. If you're fishing for flathead though, that can be a totally different story. You want to stop, pause, let it sink down. You want to hit the bottom in the sand a fair bit, but for like your brim, your jacks and all sorts of stuff like that, you want to keep up the retrieve. So, you know, swim it just along underneath the bottom of a pontoon, along a rock wall, etc., and you're going to be in for a winner. Now that's just starting to morph, but still soft plastic. From Berkeley, we have the Berkeley Shimmer Shrimp, so a little prawn imitation, and everything eats prawns, everything eats prawns, everything eats prawns. So, single toe point on the top, you got 2 little trebles hanging underneath with a lifelike little flippy tail, and this one, cast it out, let it sink down, hop it back. I love to hop these. Can also fish this vertically, so if you're fishing from a bank, find a little pontoon, walk out there and just jig it up and down underneath the pontoon. You can often pick up some good little brim, whiting, flathead, cod, etc. just jigging right next to the pontoon, while all the other anglers around you are casting out into the open water. You're actually looking for the fish straight underneath your own feet. Now, if you're in a kayak or a boat, then you're going to be a little bit more versatile and have a few more options to do. Cast to the structure, let it slow sink down because it's not too heavy. It's only at 3.5 gram lure, so it will have a nice slow sink. You can often pick up fish just on that sink. As it sinks past their face, they'll come out and grab it. If you want to do more cast and retrieve, add a few more pauses, twitches, then we've got 2 hard bodies here for you this month. First up is some lunch. So lunch by One Well Fishing. This is a deeper diving lure. It's going to go 1 to 2 meters. So it's not stupidly deep. It's going to be perfect for fishing some of those sort of sand flats where the brim and stuff are starting to come up. This thing's going to be banging along the bottom, kicking up a lot of soot, silt and sand, and attracting a lot of fish that way. Or cast straight head onto a rock wall and work it straight down the face of it into the deeper water is also a perfect way to pick up heaps of different species. If you want to fish a little bit shallower though, then you're going to jump over to the Joker 65 from Demiki. Absolutely love the Joker, mainly for bass is what I use it a lot for. But something like this over the shallows where you can twitch it a lot, add a lot of pause and stuff, because it is a suspending lure. You can just suspend it and pause it and leave it in their face is fantastic on the flats, but also fantastic along some of those rock walls and pontoons as well. cast it out, I like to give it one big rip, couple twitches, then straight into a pause and just let it sit there, because you want to rip it down to that depth, that swimming depth, pause it in front of the structure, in front of their face, and a lot of the time, just as you start to twitch or swim it away is when they come out and whack it. So you've got several different options here to fish in many different ways in the estuary box this month. If you want to check it out or any of the others from the range, just head to www.tackleclub.com.au, pick a box that's right for you, and welcome to the club.